to today at World Tag League 2023. My name's James Trupany of The Trupany Show, and joining me also of The Trupany Show is Mr. Marcus Green of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. How are you doing, sir?
Doing good. Glad to be here. Try to check in every so often, particularly with you to keep up as much as I can from this perspective on what's going on in the world of New Japan.
I will have to say that your reactions from the Super J Tag League were worth the price of admission, especially when I said, yeah, so Desperado's tagging me White, and you went, what? So we'll see what you think of Night 4 and Night 5 of World Tag League. We started at the online stream Amzi Yamanashi in Kofu, Yamanashi, Japan. The pre-show, which I didn't watch because I didn't have time, because me and Marcus did two great shows this week, so I had to watch them at some point. Oscar Lube defeated Ketsu Marishima in the opener. Master Wato, Ren Narita, and Shota Umino defeated Gates of Agony, Bishop Khan, Teo Leona, and Yoto Nakashima, which is a bit weird because that means Bishop Khan and Teo Leona are classed as Hontai in Japan, despite obviously being members of the Empire in AEW. Any thoughts on that? Because they're doing World Tag League. That's why they're there. Brought their Ring of Honor 6-man tag team belts with them.
I mean, that's interesting because it's that is, like I said, those boys not missing no meals over there. So it's interesting that they lost, but I guess it speaks to the the cohesiveness of the Wado side of the game. That they was able to pull that off, because those guys, I guess, certainly when they're on AEW TV, are very much monsters in that field. So the fact that they lost is that's interesting.
To be fair, for a young boy, Nakashima's a bit of a monster as well. He was ideal pairing for those guys, so that was intriguing to me. Chaos, Hiroki Goto, Yo, and Yoshihashi, along with Raisuke Takuchi, defeated Bullet Club, Alex Coughlin, Gabe Kidd, Gedo, and Taiji Ishimori. I'm assuming it was Gedo who was being pinned. 8 minutes and 43 seconds. Any thoughts there?
Oh, bless Gedo, man. This narrative is I feel like it's gone beyond the narrative that we once had. With Yoshihashi about him getting in his own way. Yeah, I mean, look, you'll never hear me complaining about a Goto win. And at this point, they're so battle tested. Like I said, they may be able to beat a full on two situation and come out the victors, because they kind of, like I said, they battle tested in that way. But yeah, that's an interesting Bullet Club mix. But Bullet Club has been interesting, to say the least, over the past many years. So, yeah.
We're at the most interesting level.
Yeah.
Nothing scarier has come out of Nottingham than Gabe Kidd. Like, Nottingham's this nice little city, to be honest, where more women live than men. So, Gabe Kidd is the scariest thing to ever come out of Nottingham. Anyway, House of Torture, Evil, Yoshinobu Kanemaru, and Yujiro Takahashi, along with Dick Toko, defeated Los Ignorables de Japón, Bushi, Hiromu Takahashi, and Shingo Takagi in 8 minutes and 43 seconds. I assuming they cheated.
Yes, I was about to say, I'm assuming it was Yujiro that took the piss. I guess not, dude. They had to cheat. Somebody got held outside or under the ring or something.
Yes, as Chris Charlton is so fond of saying, because Chris Charlton's the play-by-play guy now for this tour. We're swapping with Lance Archer and Henry as color guy. And honestly, Lance Archer and Chris Charlton, best commentary team I've heard this year. They're awesome. They should do it more often. As Chris Charlton's often saying, when Dick Togo comes in, they have this new spot where they hold their opponent on their head and spread his legs. And as Chris calls it, dick on dick action, as Togo jumps off the second rope and chops him in the crotch.
Oh, that's something.
It is indeed. It happened. Many people say it achieved something. Anyway, the last of the multi-tag matches, Kosei Fujita, Mikey Nichols, and Shane Haste, otherwise known as the Mighty Don't Kneel, defeated the United Empire, Callum Newman, Great O'Khan, and Henry in 9 minutes and 54 seconds. Great O'Khan and Henry haven't won a match all week. Just thought I'd put that out there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm somebody, I guess, that's not a fan of that particular faction, but just by proxy of hearing some of your great reactions to not liking, which have been great. But yeah, the Mighty Don't Kneel, man, I've always had appreciation for those guys, and even the way that they've, this version of the faction, I think is really good. So I put them against anybody really. So to hear them getting a win, that's not too surprising.
Fujita has dropped in line with Mighty Don't Kneel since he's gone to Australia. He's had his earpiece and a spacer put in. Zack Sabre Jr. described him as the most Australian Japanese man ever. Oh yeah. Anyway, Atlantis Jr. and Severano Jr. defeated Rogue Army, Bad Luck Fale, and Jack Bonza in 9 minutes and 17 seconds in the first Block B match of the evening. Yeah, it happened. Jack Bonza's not bad in a traditional heel sense. My favorite moment from him this week was they were wrestling Monster Sauce, and he managed to get Lance Archer off his feet, and he went to the hard cam and put his hands above his head and went, ah! And then Lance tapped him on the shoulder when he got up, and it just like his look of resignation was just perfect. But yeah, he's got a facial expression. I've not seen him wrestle much because he seems to be there to get pushed, to get thrown about, because Bad Luck Fale doesn't want to be thrown about, so therefore it's in Bonza's job. When you're replacing Chase Owens, are you really like the toppermost talent that you could find? He's a nice lad. I think he's going to be all right. I shouldn't make fun of him. And they lost. To Atlantis Jr. and Severano Jr. who are very good. Severano, I was not impressed with when I first started, and then he did a big comeback, and I was like, whoa, he's really good. So, yeah, any thoughts on that matchup?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of feels like, somebody like Fale is the last of the OGs when it comes to Bullet Club these days. But I can understand him not wanting to be thrown about, but it will be interesting to see that Archer match, because Archer is just, he really is somebody that doesn't kind of rest on his laurels when it comes to, his size, how he looks. He really gives you a lot of personality that he really doesn't necessarily have to. Yeah, that's surprising. For some reason, I always just be expecting Fale to be more dominant than laid back, which, I guess depending on the day a lot of times. But
yeah, he seems content to run the dojo in New Zealand, and he does World Tag League every year, but he's not been a G1 guy for 3 or 4 years. Yeah. And I think New Japan are quite happy to have him in a kind of a front office position. He's kind of senior in front office. He was the guy that recruited Jay White. He's got a place in the company, and he likes to go wrestle for fun when he wants to, and I think that's fairly reasonable for him, isn't it? Really.
No, that's good. To the guy that you said you weren't a fan of, that you now are. I mean, that sounds like somebody that's interesting, that's coming up. Not at all too similar from Wato.
Yeah, for sure. Yota Tsuji tagging with Zandokan Jr., who's kind of an honorary member of Los Ignorables de Japón, because I figured they realized that Shingo's in a match at Wrestle Kingdom, and obviously Nato's in the main event, so they've run out of heavyweights for World Tag League. Oh, we best get someone quick then. So they got Zandokan Jr. from CMLL. He's very good. I like him. They defeated Minoru Suzuki and Yuji Nagata. So, as part of Strong Style burying the hatchet with Hontai, Ran Narita said, well, I'll tag with Shota Umino. And Despy said, well, I'll tag with Wato then if I have to, which left Yuji Nagata stuck with Minoru Suzuki. And while Despy developed grudging respect for Wato, and Umino and Narita have got on because they don't have to like each other to win this tournament, Narita and Suzuki still can't stand one another. So there's not so much teamwork going on as like Narita gets bored and tags himself in. and then Suzuki gets bored and tags himself in. So they've dominated every match they've been in for like 10 minutes, and then they get pinned. Suzuki was so angry today. He broke off a ring barrier and tried to hurl it at a young boy, and did a good job of it. He landed it on him. But he wasn't mad with Nagata. He just mad that he's lost. So we're showing development here. His anger management issues are coming under control. He's finding his new white meat babyface place. Bless him.
Yes,
and he hasn't beaten up Nagata yet, so we're on a winner, really, aren't we?
Yeah, please don't touch Blue Justice. I like Blue Justice. Always liked OG Blue Justice. But yeah, I mean that's interesting because it's like you got these. It almost comes off like a team of older gentlemen who very much grew up together, maybe went to school, but for some reason when they sit down and play cards or a game, like that animosity kicks up. Like somebody always has to get accused of cheating or doing something. Like if they're playing domino, you slam them on my table too hard. Like why you always got to slam them that hard? That sort of thing, which is interesting, but it's like it's intriguing that it's literally the faction of the OGs in New Japan getting it to it like that. But I guess when you kind of done everything, I guess you kind of you have the luxury of honoring this. So particularly Suzuki, who get your opinion on this. How do you think he's faring? Like, do you think there's any residualness of the absence of Suzuki going where he's trying to find his
that's the story. He kind of found a home in Strong Style with Narita and with Desperado, and obviously that's not too far away from Suzuki Gun because him and Desperado have been running buddies for years, genuinely in real life, and I'm guessing that's the reason why Desperado was included in that group. But I think like Narita's not that far off of a young Minoru Suzuki, piss and vinegar. He's that kind of guy. But Nagata is the exact opposite of everything Suzuki stands for as a human being. Having said that, you watch this match, and Nagata's cheating just as much as Suzuki is. There's he's kicking him in the ropes, he's throwing people outside, he's brawling into the crowd, and that's kind of a Suzuki maneuver. So maybe they are rubbing off on each other a little bit, and we'll see by the end of the tournament. Because this is a long tournament. I'm wrestling because they're doing 2 blocks of 4, so I'm guessing everybody's wrestling each other twice because it's like 16 nights or something ridiculous like that. So yeah, it's intriguing for sure how this story is going to play out. So I'm looking forward to the rest of it and see what happens with it.
And it's interesting too coming off of because I think the last time we did World Tag League, which wasn't that long ago, in terms of a check-in, Ishii was not too happy. He was, which I'm like, I would not want to. I'm like, I am not trying to extend this beef.
Ishii and Tanahashi have moved a little beyond professional respect. They're actually shaking hands and talking to one another at the end of matches now. So, maybe Tana's not all that bad. Because it is noticeable that Ishii excuses himself from certain Chaos things. Like when Tiger Mask retired, Ishii wasn't there. The rest of Chaos were there, Ishii wasn't there. And when Tiger Hattori retired, everyone was there with Ishii for that one as well. And it's like, Ishii's a babyface, but he's a babyface because people like him, not because he's a babyface. That's the thing. That was the thing with Chaos. They were a heel faction. They were the number 1 heel faction before Bullet Club came along. But over a period of time, Nakamura became popular again, even though he was a heel. And then Okada was a heel, but everyone loved him. And Ishii was a heel, but he tried so hard, so everyone had to love him. And how can you hate Yano? He's a goofball, but he's a lovable goofball. And even Rocky, even like Forever Hooligans, Rocky and Alex Kozlov were an awesome team to watch. How can you hate them? They were great to watch. And as Kozlov left, retired, and the other Iizuka left, and went to Suzuki Gun. He was kind of like Chaos by default became babyface, but Ishii never really lost that edge. He's still an old school Kings Road style guy in that sense, and he's taking a long time to warm to Tanahashi because he look what he did to Nakamura. It's like you go back to Invasion Attack in 2013 and he murdered Nakamura. How can you be friends with him? So it's like, I like the fact that it's not just cut and dry. There's not just baby faces and heels. Just because you're baby faces doesn't mean you're going to get along every time. And I like that. It's cool. It's good. But there you go. We'll move on. Monster Sauce, Alex Zane and Lance Archer defeated Bishamon, Hiroki Goto, and Yoshihashi in 11 minutes and 30 seconds. This was a bit of a barnstormer, as you can probably imagine. Lance Archer managed to get blackout on Hiroki Goto, and Alex Zane finished him off with that twisting splash. What's it called that he uses? Look at his moves. What's it called? That's 630 senton driver, or cinnamon twist driver. Or cinnamon twist body press, which was just wow. Alex Zane and Lance Archer should not be a great tag team, but they are. And the most notable defensive action in this match was Lance Archer chokeslaming Alex Zane into Yoshihashi.
Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah, off the apron to the floor. Our tag team champions and our favorite tag team, and according to Pro Wrestling Illustrated, the fourth best tag team in the world this year, haven't won a match this week either. Which is concerning if they want to win this World Tag League for the third year running, which I'm sure we both positively support that action.
That's disappointing. But yeah, it sounds like the match to watch because I was trying to figure out in my head when you listed it off. I'm like, I wonder how that went.
It was fun. As a semi-main event goes, it was awesome. Really good fun to watch. It could have done with longer. 11 minutes, 30 seconds is a long time, but it could have just gone a bit longer, especially when the main event went for 20 minutes. But yeah, it was good. It was good. Yeah, that was I was just going to say, have you any thoughts on those two teams?
No, like I said, that sounded like the match to watch because I'm sitting like when you say that, like first off, it's just kind of hard, and then maybe that's just because I'm so used to seeing him one way. It's kind of for the longest because obviously he was tagged up for a while, but I mean, you're so used to seeing the Murder Hawk alone that seeing him tag with somebody else now, I mean, it would be interesting. But it's kind of like one of those things if you kind of just get out the way and then allow yourself to be used in the way of a projectile, you should probably get along pretty good with old Lance. And because again, like you said, Yoshihashi and Goto is those guys, but I get in this situation they can be beat, and oftentimes Lance is a one-man wrecking crew anyway. So, but that definitely sounds like the match to watch. And like you said, had it gone longer, we may be talking about it in a different esteem, if you will.
Yeah, for sure. My favorite comments and commentary of night 3 with Chris Charlton. Yano was coming out and he goes, I'm going to say hello to Yano and see what he does. Hey, Yano. And Yano was like, ah! He said, no, it's okay. I'm a good guy now. It's fine. It's all right. It's all good. Don't worry, buddy. It's okay. It's like, yeah. Oh, main event time. Taichi and Yue Uemura, who looks about as excited as gravel. Going up against Gorillas of Destiny, El Phantasmo, and Hikuleo. We were swapping a conspiracy theory that Yue Uemura misses Joe Hendry that much, and that's the reason why he has been utterly depressed throughout this entire tournament. To be fair, Taichi hasn't looked particularly happy about the entire proceedings either. But they did manage to beat the New Japan Strong Tag Team Champions, El Phantasmo and Hikuleo today. So that was intriguing. 2 minutes and 50 seconds. Taichi getting El Phantasmo in all Black Mephisto there and putting him away. This was actually really good. Phantasmo and Hikuleo are actually a surprisingly good team. Again, because you'd think size difference, it wouldn't work, but they do work exceptionally well. And I'm wondering what that match with Monster Sauce is going to look like. That's going to be pretty sweet because you've got two giants and two flyers, and that's going to be amazing, isn't it? You kind of dream tag team matchup. Any thoughts on those two?
Yeah, I'm not surprised somebody's depressed tagging with Taichi. However, the concept of how good Joe Hendry, entertains with his particular flair. Very much, I would imagine, plays a key into it. But at the same time, I gotta give Tachi credit, as I always like to when I can. You know, when he turns it on, leaves the shenanigans to the wayside, he is somebody that's very much a problem in between those ropes. And hearing you say God and not directly saying it just being the Tonga brothers is interesting. But obviously, I think Hikuleo has been consistently playing a more bigger role, since we've kind of seen, God take a break. Obviously, Tama is doing his solo thing, and Tonga is, still holding down the fort. It's interesting, seeing those guys try to come up. But like you said, Tachi took the win. Obviously, he's a bit more experienced in these scenarios, so that's expected. Tachi was, definitely kind of been to the mountaintop before, so that's, like I said, to be expected.
Yeah, I think so. To clear that up, Tama Tonga invited El Phantasmo to be a member of Guerrillas of Destiny because he was basically trying to take Bullet Club down by himself. He wasn't really a member of Hontai. He was going solo, and Tama said, "Hey, look, I've been there. I've tried. It ain't going to work. You need some backup." And he invited them to become part of. He invited to become part of Guerrillas of Destiny, and they took the tag team titles off the War Dogs. So Tama Tonga, again, his recruitment skills, which is one of the things that made Bullet Club so strong, is now working for Hontai instead. So there you go. Which is, again, nice little underlying story to tell. So, night 5, pre-show, Yuta Nakashima defeated Katsuya Murashima, a new young boy who is so new he doesn't even have a cage match page yet. So not a lot you can say about that. Atlantis, Oleg Bolton, Soberano Jr. defeated Monster Sauce and Oscar Lube. Oscar Lube is massive. I wonder what it looked like next to Alex Haynes on the side. 6 minutes and 38 seconds. There's not a lot of say about that one either, is there really?
Yeah, we said massive compared to, and what I guess in one comparison to somebody like Galeno.
Yeah. Oscar's, he's 6'5". He's big. Mm-hmm. Big lad. Yeah. But he's not Lance Archer big, which is kind of the thing. But there you go. Chaos, Hiroki Goto, Yoshihashi, and Yo, along with Ryusuke Taguchi. Why? Defeated Bad Luck Fale, Gedo, Jack Bonds, and Taiji Ishimori in 8 minutes and 54 seconds. Again, Gedo, why? Why are you bothering?
Don't have to do it.
No, you will literally run the company. But yeah, any thoughts there?
Who got the pin? We know who took it.
I don't know. It doesn't list on the cage match. I'm guessing Gedo, but I would suggest probably Yo.
Yeah. Give it. I guess they wouldn't give it to Taguchi, who's probably hip attacking as the pin's being counted.
True. True. Yeah. They put him in a tag match with it was Okada, Tanahashi, Ishii, and Taguchi, and Taguchi was trying to buddy up to Ishii, and Ishii was like, "No, go away." I mean, I like him. You know, I don't mind him so much these days, but not you. No. But yeah, that was that. Dookie, Sanada, Taki Michinoku. Dookie, and your IWGP World Heavyweight Champion, Sanada. Taki Michinoku and Yui Imura of Just Five Guys defeated, oh good God, Master Wato, Minoru Suzuki, Tomoaki Honma, and Yuji Nagata. Yeah, apparently that happened. Experts are still trying to find out why. Okay.
that has to be one interesting locker room meeting.
I'm gonna have to look back and look at that one because that's just whoa. That's blown my mind. Possibly a fuse in it. But yeah, that happened. There you go. Any thoughts there?
When the minute you listed off, I was just head scratching. I just would imagine that the non-fluidity of that particular group very much played into them not getting that win.
Very much so. Los Ignorables, Bushu and Yotatsuchi, along with Zandokan Jr., defeated Gorillas of Destiny, El Fantasmo, Hikuleo, and Jado. I'm guessing it was Jado who took the pin there. 2 minutes and 30 seconds.
Every time.
Yeah.
Every...
Oh, well. I mean, yeah, fair enough. They all guys want to have a go. They should have a go. That's cool. It's all right as far as I'm concerned. Right then. Ren Narita and Shota Umino defeated Gates of Agony, Bishop Khan, and Taya Leona in 10 minutes and 30 seconds. This was a lot of fun. Umino and Narita kind of getting things back on track. Bishop Khan and Taya Leona have looked impressive, but just not won anything yet. But there's time yet. They can pick up some points. So that was an intriguing matchup. Any thoughts on those two teams? Because you haven't seen an awful lot of Narita and Umino, have you?
Not together. Which makes it a more intriguing watch because the Gates of Agony. That's like I said, that's a hell of a test. So the fact that they beat them shows how well that's been gelling.
Yeah, I mean, this is the thing is with Umno is like I'm like baffled by the booking because like 2 weeks ago he goes 40 minutes with Will Ospreay, and everyone's lauding him as the next great big thing, and he's he's going to be amazing, and then last Tuesday he got pinned by Gabe Kidd from Piledriver, clean. It's like, and I know in New Japan anyone can beat anyone, but Gabe Kidd couldn't beat Chase Owens at the beginning of the G1. And he jumped in from the start. So it is just like, yeah, the Gabe Kidd's on the rise very, very quickly. Or Shota Umino is going to have to earn it very, very hard. And that's a wrinkle in there. It's not going to be easy, and I like that. But again, it's just a bit odd.
One of those things, like going 40 minutes with Will Ospreay says a lot.
Yeah.
Until it doesn't.
Until it doesn't. Yeah. I can't remember who he said this week. Oh yeah, go 40 minutes. Let's go 40 minutes with the guy who's leaving. Why don't you pin him? Well, surely your young rising star beating that guy before he leaves would be a better idea, but no. Anyway, War Dogs, Bullet Club, Alex Coughlin, and Gabe Kidd defeated Tomohiro Ishii and Toru Yano. This was a lot of fun. There's a lot of back and forth and a lot of Yano experience and Ishii toughness. But Gabe Kidd, that pile driver on Yano, again, it's a killer. And he took out Yano and Chaos to get them to 4 points.
Well, first off, I commend Yano for the surviving under the hard. I would imagine it's a hard learning tree with Ishii. Because I gotta commend Gabe too, because like he pinned Yano. Well, he had the patience to catch him.
Yeah.
But I would imagine also being with Ishii, it's only so much of that tomfoolery is gonna be allowed because Ishii's not gonna just sit there and be taking everything. So that is a interesting combination. But to your point, that must be a hell of a power drop.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's rare something as simple as that is a finish. Obviously, Minoru Suzuki's Gotch pile driver, but Suzuki's reputation is everything's about technique and doing everything correctly. So his pile driver has to be better than everybody else's. So Gabe Kidd, he's using a pile driver, and that's fine.
That's actually really refreshing to hear because the pile driver in AEW is basically a DDT. So
yeah.
But
yeah, I'm just trying to think who trained Gabe Kidd, and I was like, he was trained by who trained to trainer Styx, Marty Jones, and Katsuyori Shibata. 3 double hard bastards. There you go.
3 double.
That's the only way you can describe them 3.
Oh man.
Marty Jones wrestled in a cage match one night, cut his arm on the top of the cage, needed 16 stitches after the match, but kept going.
I don't even know if I care to be that tough. So kudos to him.
Marty Jones, Snake Pit trained, didn't stand any showmanship whatsoever. His phrase was, I may have scurfed a few wrestlers around a bit in my day.
Yeah, I bet.
But yeah, he helped train William Regal, which will tell you how tough he was.
Oh, well, then never mind.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah, he had a big hand in William Regal and Kid McCoy, and trained one of my mates who's a referee in the UK scene, and a bunch of other wrestlers as well. He's got a training school, and he's really good. Anyway, where are we? Yes, Kaito Kiyomiya and Rai Owa on loan back from Noah. Owa is doing his excursion in Noah. He's not going anywhere else. He's just doing it in Noah. And by all accounts, the Noah guys love him. The fans do. They managed to dispose of Evil and Yujiro Takahashi, the House of Torture, in 16 minutes and 14 seconds, which was an awful lot of time for shenanigans, as you can probably imagine.
Yeah.
And there was, unfortunately, dick-on-dick action in this particular match. But Kiyomiya and Owa did go out with the win. Owa's got, like, he's trying to perfect the backbreaker. And he's got some incredible variations on the backbreaker. It's like, you know, it's a bit like, I don't know, learning Latin mass. It's nice to know you can do it, but it's not completely necessary in life. Why you're trying to reinvent the backbreaker, I don't know, but he's doing it really well, and it seems like a worthy thing for him to do.
That's interesting because Strong's supposed to be the Messiah, so I'd like to see some of those comparisons because backbreaker is just brutal because there's no real way to be like, you're 100% taking that like so. The fact that he's coming up with even more refreshing variations of an already brutal series of maneuvers that's impressive.
Absolutely, yeah. Keita Kiyomiya, 27 years old, still the absolute ace of Noah, and still looks absolutely amazing and kind of looks like a star in this particular tournament because there aren't many others, I think, is the issue. Ishii's kind of on his level. I suppose Evil is in one way or another, but everyone else isn't really a superstar, and he just looks like a superstar. As well as Suzuki and Narita, but they are older superstars, so they haven't quite got the same shine that he has. So yeah, he walks the walk and talks the talk. So, and when they announced it, oh god, current Global Honor Crown Champion, whose name escapes me, Keno, there you go. Keno said, and I quote, "It's all right you going to New Japan, but go and win something this time." So, like, yeah, all right, fair enough. So yeah, so they're trying to like reverse his G1 trend of losing more matches than he won. And the main event for this show was Great-O-Khan and Henare, who've had a slow start. They've only won one match in this tournament so far. Like I said, they hadn't won anything last week at all. Mighty Don't Kneel, Mikey Nichols and Shane Haste, arguably the best tag team that's never won the IWGP Tag Team Championships, as they keep pushing on commentary, beat the United Empire, Great-O-Khan and Henry, in 15 minutes and 15 seconds. It seems to be, well, I mean, Haste and Nichols have been one of the most established and best tag teams in the world for going on for a decade now. But United Empire had a real killer run in this tournament last year, and they're not gaining traction this year at all. And it seems to me like it's very much about the new pairings, and O'Khan and Henry are kind of like a step behind, which is unfortunate for them. And I hope they have something cooking for them come Wrestle Kingdom, because they work really hard. And, I know we're not a big fan of their faction, but especially O'Khan, he's a superstar. He had that great match with John Moxley at Power Struggle not long ago. So, like, I hope they have something for him for all the effort he's put in for this year. And they're not just stuck in the Battle Royal at the opening of the tournament, on the opening of the card. But there you go. What's your thoughts on that?
Oh, that's interesting. And again, it seems like a match to watch because, like you said, while you might not be fans of the faction, you never deny try to play down the work. So, but again, to your point about the Mighty Don't Kneel, they consistently always baffling to me how when I see them, they're not champions of some sort.
Yeah.
Like consistently the best guys going that don't have gold, which is a kind of baffling narrative when you see, how many other teams oftentimes just kind of get stuff put on them and a lot of times be makeshift teams. And I think the Mighty Don't Kneel has been putting together a nice, like I say, group over the past however many years. So glad they got the win. To your point, hopefully they're able to do something about the United Empire catching back up on some of that momentum because it does say a lot with what they did last year. And New Japan is usually good with maintaining that momentum sometimes. So We'll see, but they, I would very much like to see the Matt O'Neill get something significant, particularly if you're not going to ever crown these guys.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. You looking at Wrestle Kingdom, the only thing left is the tag team title match. So Naito has Sonata for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. That's the main event. Okada's got Bryan Danielson. Okada is like swinging for that to be the main event. Naito will just walk if that happens. Sama Tonga versus Shingo Takagi for the Never Openweight Championship. Ocean Spray versus Dave Finlay and Jon Moxley for the US Championship, or whatever the new championship they're going to create to replace the US Championship, because Dave Finlay destroyed the US and UK Championship belts at Power Struggle. And then who else is there? New Japan Strong Championship won't be on the line because it's currently in that tournament with Eddie Kingston. So the only thing, junior heavyweight, Hiromu Takahashi versus Desperado for the junior heavyweight championship. So the only thing left is the tag team title match. And it's going to be Bishimon versus somebody. And the biggest match you have on the table is Bishimon versus Mighty O'Neill, which they haven't run yet. Because you're not going to get FTR back. They're kind of like stuck doing stuff in AEW. So yeah, it's kind of the obvious thing, but we've been duped before. It was the obvious thing to have Desperado win the Super Junior Tag League, wasn't it? And that didn't happen. So what do you do?
Yeah, hopefully that is the thing, because that would make that would cap off a real good card. Like you said, if Naito don't get the main event, he walks, which would be hilarious. Well, but that story just makes sense in totality of how Sonata left and then finally gained prominence after God knows how long. But yeah, I'm hoping that's the match, and of course I'm rooting for Bushima. But like I said, the Mighty O'Neill, it's kind of something's long overdue for those guys, because I heard about them before I saw them years ago, and then I saw them like all the the high praise makes sense. So we'll see. But like you said, we've been duped before. Sometimes New Japan, takes subverting expectations to the wrong level. So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm just looking at like titles. The last time they were World Tag Team Champions was 2015, Global Honored Tag Team Champions in Noah. And they held the belt. That was the second time they held the belt. They had a run in 2013 to 2014 where they held the belts for a year. And then they had a short run of 32 days. Guess who they dropped it to? Any ideas? You know them. They were on the cards we've talked about today. Well, one of them was on the cards we talked about today. They dropped it. Sorry?
And this is for not you talking about the other components for the tag titles?
Yeah, guess who did they drop the Global Honored Crown Tag Team Championships to in Noah in 2014? Any ideas?
The mighty AOT.
It was an invading force in Noah. It was the biggest story in Noah for a year, and it may have nearly killed the company by accident as well.
Oh, I'm blanking on this because I know you probably had to mention this 20 times.
It was Killer Elite Squad, Davey Boy Smith. Davey Boy Smith Jr. and Lance Archer of Suzuki-gun, who invaded the company in 2014 just after Wrestle Kingdom.
That's so. I don't know what it be. For some reason, even though he be prominent in the feature, I always some kind of way lose track of Davey Boy Smith. And he's big. He's big as hell. But it's like, how does that guy that big kind of get lost in the wrestling shuffle?
So many reasons. I don't know why. He's got everything. He's like Big
Yeah,
wrestling family, got the talent, got the mouth, can do everything you want him to do. Don't get it.
Lance Archer
Don't get
pop up like a pimple like TJP, and he'll be in your face. But
it.
David Boy Smith, I'll be like, what happened to that guy? And like, no, he's still in. But yeah. So wow, that's yeah. Yeah, and those two went on a tear, man.
They did. They were. Well, it was Taichi and Kanemaru won the tag team titles because Kanemaru defected to Suzuki Gun so that him and Taichi could win the junior tag team titles because Taichi was a junior back then. Kaius won the tag team titles. Minoru Suzuki took the GHC heavyweight championship. And Noah fans hated it. Absolutely hated it. It was amazing TV, and I hadn't watched Noah in ages, and I was like really interested and watched every match that happened. And that was the year that Marufuji had a final for the Global Honor Tournament. The final was him and Shelton Benjamin, who was also in Suzuki Gun, which people forget.
That brief stint, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a while. It was awesome. But there you go. Yeah. Anywho. Suzuki Gun. They did so many things. Do you know what else was in Suzuki Gun? MVP was in Suzuki Gun. People forget about that as well. Because it described as like when the contract came up with WWE, New Japan offered him a contract, and he was like, "Yeah, I want to go to New Japan." And WWE were like, "Really?" And they were like, "Yeah, I never wanted to wrestle in WWE. I always wanted to wrestle in New Japan." So he said it's like somebody. He said like I started wrestling. It was when WWE came calling. It was like someone giving you a Rolls Royce, but I still wanted that old Ford Mustang.
Oh, that's a great way to describe that.
Yeah, so he said I went and drove my Mustang. He said that was really what I wanted, and that was it. So yeah. Well, thank you for your excellent commentary today, sir. I appreciate it. And you will be back at the Troopany Show on Monday, where we're talking about GLEAT, won't you?
Yes, sir. Always a pleasure. These World Tag League check-ins are becoming very, very favorable.
Commentate on watching wrestling you haven't watched. I don't ask much, but yeah, what do you think of these guys you've never seen before? Yeah. But yeah, thank you very much. Where can we find you on the internet, Marcus?
Yes, sir. Again on Twitter, at Paradise Kid, PARADOXKID. Always down to chat.
There you go. You can find me on Twitter at Sheriff Lone Star. You can find me on Sheriff Lone Star TX on Instagram and on Mastodon. You can find the show on YouTube, SoundCloud, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcast from. You can find the show on Troopany Show on Twitter as Troopany Show, on Instagram as Troopany Show, and the Troopany Show on Facebook and Patreon. And we have, like I said, a YouTube channel. Go listen to us there. This is where the show will be up there tonight, because we turn around that quickly here at the Troopany Show. Take care, and we'll speak to you soon. Bye.